Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of MJ Everyday, one of the most highly requested, highly sought after episodes of MJ Everyday that we have seen thus far. SARMs, selective androgen receptor modulators. Man, I have been getting a lot of questions about SARMs recently. Guys, this is going to be a little bit of a follow-up episode to episode 47 of MJ Everyday, where I discuss performance-enhancing drugs. That episode is popping up on screen right now, so if you haven't watched that episode, please pause this video, go back and watch that one, because this really is going to be a follow-up to that, where we talk specifically about SARMs as a type of performance-enhancing drug. So a couple of things have happened over the last few days that have really prompted me to come in and shoot this episode specifically on SARMs for you guys. So the first thing was we dropped our highly anticipated article on SARMs. It's called SARMs 101. Link is down below in the description box. Introductory article to SARMs. It goes through what SARMs are, how they work, what they do, compares them to natural test boosters and anabolic steroids, goes through the legality, the risks, etc., etc. Very cool, very short, quick to the point article. So make sure you guys do go and have a read of that. Second thing that happened was I went and saw my doctor this morning and got my blood test results, as I do when I'm in pre-contest every month, and now in my off season I do it every couple of months, just to make sure that my androgens naturally are where they should be and there's no issues with my testosterone or my estrogen, my prolactin, my thyroid hormone function. I always get my bloods done quite frequently just to keep on top of everything and make sure everything is where it needs to be within range. And my doctor and I, we started talking about SARMs. I brought it up to the doctor and I said, look, we did this article. I've had a lot of really good feedback on it, but me personally, I am quite concerned about the amount of use of SARMs going on in the industry at the moment, particularly by young guys, girls as well, but prominently by young guys, late teens, early 20s, who are kind of jumping right into SARMs, thinking that they're more of a supplement because they're so easy to get, rather than a steroid, which is much more difficult to get. And so I asked my doctor's opinion. I said, you treat a lot of performance athletes. Have you seen a rise in the use of SARMs? Have you seen people taking them? What's your opinion on them? And my doctor said to me, he said, it doesn't surprise me that you have these concerns and that you are seeing a rapid increase in the use, because I am seeing it from a medical perspective a lot. And he said that he has seen a lot of people come through his doors who have used SARMs, who haven't really known what they're doing. And we got into talking about the types of risks that are involved that people really aren't talking about with SARMs. And that's kind of where I want to drill down in this episode, is to give you guys a little bit of insight into the sorts of things that we talked about, in addition to what we went through in episode 47 of MJ Everyday, and in addition to the things that are addressed in the SARMs 101 article. So my doctor and I, we got talking, and I said to him, I said, look, I've done a bunch of research. I know based on my research that there's a suppression of natural testosterone production, definitely. There is a possibility of increasing cancer. And I've had a little bit of a read about the effect that it has on raising bad cholesterol, LDL, and reducing good cholesterol, HDL. And he said to me, he said, look, I've seen a bunch of people who have used them now, and take what you have researched and literally multiply it by times 10. Multiply it by a factor of 10. He said, I have never seen testosterone be suppressed so much, even with the use of anabolics, of anabolic steroids, of actual testosterone and different metabolites, because I've never seen natural testosterone production get crushed so quickly as I have seen with SARMs. He said, I've never seen the ratio of good to bad cholesterol get crushed so quickly as I have with SARMs. And he said, the one thing that really concerns me is the fact that SARMs have been around for a while now, and there were a lot of studies going on with them by big pharmaceutical companies looking at, commercializing them, patenting them, and taking them to market. And those studies very abruptly came to a halt. And he said what happens in the medical profession, in the pharmaceutical profession, is usually when something like that happens, they start studying a particular group of compounds, and then that, for whatever reason, it just stops, is because usually they find something during those studies that they think this is going to cause a lot of damage to people, and we can't risk continuing with the study because it opens us up to class action lawsuits if we continue to go down this path and we're not willing to take that risk. And he said that from a medical and a pharmaceutical perspective, that's never a good sign when they just stop researching compounds like that, because it's usually something big has happened, or they can foresee something big happening that is really not in the interest of the company to continue pursuing this research. So my doctor's opinion on it from a medical standpoint kind of took my opinion on SARMs and amplified it, exponentially from my concerns to what he's actually seeing in actual blood tests from his actual patients who have messed around with SARMs over the last year or so. And he said to me, in my medical professional opinion, I think they're dangerous. He goes, I'd much rather see people taking actual anabolics than messing around with these SARMs, because we just don't know what the long-term effects are. But what we're seeing in the short term is very rapid suppression of natural testosterone production, very rapid increase in bad cholesterol and crushing of good cholesterol. And he said, the cancerous thing we're not going to know about for a while now because it's just way too early to know about that. But he said that he'd much rather see people taking compounds that have been studied for many years, like anabolic steroids, rather than taking these SARMs, which are kind of in no man's land, that no one really knows what the detrimental effects are going to be. So I wanted to shoot this episode, guys, because I know that there's a lot of younger guys in particular messing around with SARMs, thinking that, they're supplements and they're not, there's not going to be side effects to them. It's no big deal. It's not like taking steroids where you have to worry about PCT and you have to worry about the effect it's having on your general health. A lot of people kind of underestimate how powerful SARMs are and the types of negative effects that they can have on your endocrine system, your cholesterol, and all of these other things that I've discussed in this episode. So I just want to use this episode, guys, to just almost sound a warning bell, so to speak. At the end of the day, as I said in episode 47 of MJ Every Day on performance enhancing drugs, it's your body. You can do with it what you like. It's completely up to you. What you do with your body doesn't affect me at all. But I want to use this episode to sound the warning bell and say, if you are thinking about going down the path of utilizing SARMs, understand how powerful they are. Understand that they will crush your natural testosterone production. They will have negative effects on your good to bad cholesterol balance. There's the possibility of them being carcinogenic to a certain extent. We just don't know we don't know to what extent it is with SARMs, but we know for sure the crushing of natural testosterone production and the negative effect that it has on good to bad cholesterol. If you are thinking about going down this path, guys, please, please, please seek professional medical advice. Do not do it without getting your bloods done at least monthly. Do not do it without having professional medical supervision while you're doing it. These are very, very powerful drugs. There's a reason why they're scheduled in Australia, why they're prescription only in Australia, and other countries now are following suit as well. Just because you can buy them over the counter, legally or illegally, just because they're easily accessible, it doesn't mean that they're safe. And that's really the big take-home message that I want for you guys. If you're thinking about messing around with SARMs, get the right advice, understand how powerful they are, understand that there are very rapidly onsetting, very aggressive negative effects that can come from the use of SARMs. And guys, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. So do your research, understand what you're doing, seek professional medical advice. And then at the end of the day, you know, it's your body. It's up to you. You guys can do what you want to do. That's a wrap for today's episode of MJ Everyday on SARMs. Guys, as always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn your post notifications on, both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel. Until tomorrow, I'm coming to ya from MassiveJoes.com.